I think for me, it's like, I do a lot of I play, sport. I play hockey outside of work and stuff. And, luckily I've had my girlfriend too, who's been like a real huge help with everything. She's been a big supporter. So that's helped out a bunch. Individuals like yourself, Tim, you were there for me when I was going through all this stuff. So, I mean, death is a part of life, and, you just hold on to the hope. Like, I don't pretend to know, like I know what's on the other side,
Yeah.
But if there is something, hopefully I'll link up with them again, and, hopefully my dog's out there hanging out with them too, so.
That'd be super rad. Dude.
Yeah.
I've had a few dogs pass away. I don't know. I think, I believe in God, but I don't want to put God in a box.
No.
So you just never know.
Yeah.
You don't never know. If people are like, well, there's no animals in heaven. They don't have souls. Like, well, who told you that?
Yeah.
I mean, we don't know. And I always tell people too, like the Bible those are snippets of everything that Christ did while he was on earth. It's not the whole, it's kind of like a guide, I mean, he's not going to tell you everything.
No.
So that's why I'm like, dude, we don't know.
Well, it's like,
we don't know who's going to be there.
It's like at the firehouse, it's like a guy tells a story and then it goes down 5 other people.
And it changes 2 different languages?
It is completely different than when it started out. It's like we're so far removed. I mean, who knows? But yeah, it's been tough. I won't lie. Like, there's been good days and bad days. It flows. But just staying busy, sitting there and actually like sitting with your thoughts and going through it, even though it's like horrible at that moment.
Yeah.
And just, trying to tell yourself like, hey, this will pass. You'll get there.
That's something that really stuck with me. I remember hearing a lot younger years. This too shall pass.
Oh, yeah.
Sometimes when you're thick of it, it can suck. And you feel like there's no hope. There's no end. And then time goes on. It's a little better. You start working out again, surfing, therapy, whatever it may be, faith. If it's not you, that's totally cool. Then you start realizing like, damn, okay, I can make it through this. I'm getting stronger. I'm getting better. And you start looking back. You're like, holy crap. Like, that was one of the toughest times of my life, and I made it.
Yep.
Like, damn, I learned a lot during that time. And I always tell people it's kind of that forced growth. You have no choice but to go through it. And there's no way around it.
No.
How like a lot of times, right, I'll always show, okay, what's the easy way around this?
Oh, yeah.
There's no easy way around that. You have to go right through that dealing with death. And it's hard. And that's why I'm big on talking, not just talking about firefighting with firefighters or police stuff with police officers, but really get into the heart of the person, because you still have to deal with life on top of work. And that's why I'm a huge proponent. I think Jordan and I both are, for mental health for first responders.
Oh, yeah.
I think it's very important. And I know we have great programs where we work that are free. Huge on it, man. Like, don't be afraid to talk to somebody if it ever gets to that point. Like, not like, what I'm saying, where it's just like, fuck, like, this sucks. Maybe I need to just like throw this back on someone real quick and chat with them, I think it's such a good thing. I do it. What I actually did that was awesome is Cambo.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, John Vargas was on here. He works for another fire department, and he's a practitioner in Cambo. Dude, huge.
Yeah.
I haven't felt this good in probably like 20 years. As far as
awesome.
Mental clarity, spiritually, physically, everything feels definitely kind of in tune. It's a huge surrender. I remember him telling me that. He was telling me that like first responders, especially firefighters that come and do Cambo, they have a hard time surrendering and not being in control, which is fair. I get it, because we have to kind of be, when we go do our job, like we got to be in full control of what's happening. And he's like, you have to learn to surrender. And I remember that hit me, like surrender. For me, it was surrender all the good that you have, surrender all the bad that's happened, surrender all your pain, surrender everything that's inside of you right now to this process, and really seek this out and see how it feels. And dude, it was wild.
I think
it was wild.
I think it's, and I'm not the best person at it by any means, but I've gotten a lot better at it. And it's like it's the talking, it's literally the community, whether, you don't always want to tell your loved one if you have like a girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever, or like husband, wife, but like you got to find some kind of outlet to, the ocean is one of the great equalizers.
Oh my God. Yes.
But at the same time, like you still have to find that where you can bounce stuff off of. And I know that sometimes like finding therapists and like doing it on a consistent basis because they're overloaded.
Yeah.
Because of how much mental illness really is out there.
True.
You know, or how many
Very true.
like, people are going through stuff on a day to day, you know. It's like it's tough to get to that point, but I think definitely opening yourself up, surrendering.
Yeah.
You know, whether it's being open-minded too, you know.
Oh,
like,
absolutely. Yeah.
That's one thing that I wasn't always the best at because of how I was raised, you know. It's like you don't complain.
I think it's kind of our generation though.
Yeah.
'Cause I feel like all three of us were in that same boat where it was just like it's one way.
Yeah.
It wasn't open-minded. I'm very open-minded to many things now.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it's just I'm big on accepting people as they are.
It's life experience, man.
Yeah,
It opens
man.
your mind.
You have to. I mean, whereas like, I was raised in a pretty strict Christian home, and it's like, stay away from homosexuals. You're like, what are they? What are you guys afraid of? They're still people.
Yeah, great time, man.
Yeah, and now some of my really good friends are gay.
Yeah.
And I have no problem with it. That's their choice. Go for it. So I mean, I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
I totally see what you're getting at.
Yeah, you grow over time, and like the biggest thing, you know, if you're going through stuff is like you just got to find an outlet.
Yeah.
And it's tough to take that first step, but any step you take is like one in the right direction. You know, it's like once you get moving and you get the process started, it's like, you know, my girlfriend and I, we talk about this kind of stuff all the time. It's just like you can't be so bummed out and hate yourself so much when like you don't meet that one little goal that you had for that day. Or, you know, it's like you keep your goals small, you keep your world small. One little success, that's a big deal because that's just one in the series.
Yeah.
And you're going to have a couple of steps back every once in a while, but you just got to keep pushing through it. And like, that's kind of what's helped me get through is like, it's like, hey, today was a setback, but you know, it's okay. It's okay to not be okay.
Yeah.
Totally,
Thank you for saying that. Yeah. It is absolutely okay to not be okay.
Yeah.
And I think for a long time, I was afraid of that, of saying, hey, I'm not okay.
Yeah.
Trying to put on a face. And the more of a front you put on, it feels like the more you're suffering. Dude, I love that. 100% agree. Sorry, George, go ahead.
No, it's okay. There was a lot to unpack what you guys just said. I mean, yeah, starting with don't compartmentalize, you know, and I think that's something that we all probably have in common because it feels like everyone that's in this industry is able to do that very well. And I'm not saying, you know, and I don't mean that you need to just tell everyone everything all the time. You know, you got to find what's right for you, you know, and having, dealing with a loss or, you know, with a struggle or whatever that is, you know, having the opportunity to talk to somebody or a friend or a loved one or a therapist, you know, sometimes I even think that like you don't even have to, it doesn't even have to be talking to somebody. It's having an outlet of an activity. Yep. It's something just whatever that is, just to keep you moving. Right, because and I like what you said. You know, this too shall pass. You know, time heals all things. Like all those like kind of cliche phrases. I feel like, especially as we get older, it's like those are the most true in life in general. You know, and I think the key in that is that you just need to keep moving, because if you don't, that's where the bad stuff happens. And sometimes being alone with your thoughts is good.
Yep.
You know, even though it doesn't feel good, and you tend to question everything. You know, but even going through that and then getting to the next day is a victory, right? Or depending on how, you know, wherever that leads you, right? So it's good to hear that, you know, you're finding healthy outlets to do stuff. And like, dude, it's not going to be a fast thing, obviously, with any type of loss, and more specifically that close of a family member, dude. Like, you know, but just keeping that in the back of your head, knowing it's like you said, hey, today sucked, but you know what, tomorrow's another day. Yeah. You know what I mean? Little victories. You know, I can't remember who it was. It was like a colonel or something, had some speech that was like, every day make your bed.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's one thing.
Navy SEAL guy.
Yeah. Because one thing that you can check off on the to-do list of the day, you knocked it out first thing. So you're starting off with a win.
It's literally that simple.
Yeah. I mean, I don't make my bed every morning, but I try really hard to remember that when I get up and go, here he goes. Hey, I did something great. Starting off on the right foot, you know?
I mean, I'm not tucking corners in or anything, but maybe
it's
basic
it's
little.
sloughed over in the general area.